Good morning. It is Tuesday, April 14th, 2020. These are your online agenda slides. Click on today's date. It will take you to some slides that will go along with the lecture. So today, April 14th, you'll see that we are still focusing on mammal evolution. You need to finish steps 1 and 2 if you did not finish them yesterday. I would imagine that you're just wrapping up the video with your 30 minutes from yesterday. You had to do the Google form, so make sure that that's done. Nothing new on the table of contents, but today you should start step 3, and that might look like you watching the lecture, maybe watching the video on the inner ear. You can also watch a prehistoric mammal BBC episode. I have provided the slides for you. The top flap of each period is going to involve how the mammals are evolving and what part of the body that we're focusing on that gave them an evolutionary advantage. In the Triassic, you'll hear in the lecture from Miss Bombardieri about skull shape and muscle attachment. On the bottom flap, you're going to want to describe the Earth, how the plates around the Earth had the land masses. It started with Pangea at the beginning of the era. At the end of the era, it should show it breaking up. Address the climate, the CO2 and oxygen levels, what the sea levels were like, and the currents, whether they were simple or complex. And then in the bottom part of the bottom flap, you will look for a mammal of that period and describe its size, its diet, its habitat, where it lived. And we know that the animals of the mammal family started small in the Triassic. As you move to the Jurassic, you'll focus on the jaw articulation and how that gave a mammal an advantage over the reptilian jaw. Again, Miss Bombardieri's video is very detailed, but you're going to want to address the advantages that this gave the mammals. And then the bottom flap, you'll again address the Jurassic Earth, same exact thing, but in the mammals, you'll start to notice the change in the species in this part of the Mesozoic era, the Jurassic period. Then we go to the Cretaceous top flap. That's where we address the inner ear of the mammal and how the 3 bones of the reptilian jaw moved up and back into the ear of the mammal and what advantage it gave the mammals. And then the bottom flap will be addressing what was going on with the Earth just before the strike of the asteroid that ended the reign of the dinosaurs. You'll want to address what the mammals looked like at that time. Don't forget, at this point, you should have the flaps labeled. You should have a sedimentary rock layer key drawn in and an index fossil selected and drawn for each of those. You'll also want to have your boundaries for the mass extinctions that started the Mesozoic era and ended the Mesozoic era. And we've given you some additional slides to address that part of your foldable on the bottom, such as the continental drift. We've given you some slides for the top flap. And then for the Earth, the carbon dioxide and temps, the atmospheric CO2 and the time, and it was compared to the average global temp there with the blue line, the oxygen levels during the Mesozoic period, the ocean currents and how they were either simple or complex, and what was going on with the sea levels, and then the evolutionary advantage of the mammals and the jaws compared to the reptiles. And then we talk specifically here about evolutionary advantages and what species need to survive, and if they're not just surviving but thriving. And then mammals' complexity over time and what the pros and cons were to the animal for each of these 3 things. Have a great day. Remember, I am online if you need any help with the Zoom. Today, you want to try and at least get part of step 3 done. You will have all of tomorrow to finish step 3. And this is your Zoom link. I will see you soon. Have a great day, Tigers.